The community of Alpa is pretty small. We have about 320 students here. All the kids in each classroom pretty much start from kindergarten and finish in high school together. So throughout their time together, they become close like family.
It's a pretty lost town, hard to find on the map. Sometimes you would tell somebody, oh, I live in Alpa, and they would be like, where's that? You know, we always get that from everybody.
It is a very low socioeconomic disadvantaged community. Our roads are very poorly maintained by the county. There's one store. We have one restaurant. Many of our residents are long-term residents. Kids will actually come back from their college experience and still live in Alpa because it's home to them.
Woodlake is a very rural community, a very farm-oriented town with a lot of Western hospitality. We're a very small community, and a lot of the students, their parents usually work in the fields, a lot of ranch management and just field work in general, and a lot of low-income paying jobs usually.
We're probably looking at about 8,000 in population. Generally, a high percentage of the population here is Hispanic. A lot of the students are bilingual, Spanish-speaking. It is small, it's tight-knit, everybody knows everybody. Something happens in Woodlake, everybody will know about it by the end of the day.
We're a one-to-one school, so in the morning, 6th through 12th grade get to check out their Chromebooks from the library and take them to class with them. The reason that our students cannot take their Chromebooks home is because they don't have internet access, which defeats the purpose of us giving homework on Google Classroom or one of our ebooks.
It is a little challenging for us as teachers to assign any assignments that require internet use when it comes to researching, for example, a project, and they have to do research on their own. It is unfair to most of them to say, okay, you're going to be assigned this topic and it is due in 2 days. The challenge as well is the library, 2 days a week, that's all we get.
One of the main things we provide that is utilized is the internet, or access to the internet, a public computer. So it's become really important for our patrons to have access to that.
Internet here is very important. I know that now that I am working at the school, because a lot of our homework, even when I was in high school, we had to do a lot of research papers. But of course, me coming from a low-income family, we never had internet. That never came to mind because that was more of a luxury to us.
The transition from textbook to computer-based learning, actually, I would say probably 10 plus years that transition has been taking place. And I would say just in the last 5 years, it really has become the norm.
Studying without internet at home makes everything hard because I still have to get internet access from my own hotspot, and I just get like 6 gigabytes each month. So, I mean, with the assignments, I don't have any social media. I had to get rid of that to be able to use all the internet on my assignments. So it's pretty hard to balance that thing out.
I would say the majority of the issue is we are so rural and there are no real close towns, and so it is costly to run the towers out here. Those who try and get internet out here, it's very weak.
Honestly, I've looked at installing internet here and then not including your monthly payments, that's where I think is our big problem, just installing it. I mean, do we have enough to do this just for the installation? It's gonna come to a point where we're gonna have to ask the principal, is it okay if we come use the Wi-Fi at the school? Because I see most of the kids do that. Since they know the password, they're sitting in the parking lot on their phones or laptops or stuff doing their work because they don't have it at home.
We recently got Wi-Fi in all of our branches in Tulare County, Alpal being one of the, I think the original 10 that got Wi-Fi, because we realize that it is such a viable asset for people to have in this day and age. And in doing so, we hope that we can give all of these students a chance to get into a larger university or a community college at the very least, and do something in the future that they normally wouldn't be able to do without having access to the internet or a computer.
With the advent of devices and access to the internet, access to computer programs, educational programs, we noticed that students that did not have access to the internet at home were not able to participate in an equitable fashion with other students that did. So one of the things that we did as a district to close that gap is be able to provide all the students with devices and district-wide internet free of charge. That allows students to access resources that are only available on the internet. It provided students the opportunity to interact with schoolwork and assignments and projects with other students.
When Woodlake first started implementing like Chromebooks and stuff, it was very difficult because students like myself, I had to actually stay at the school and work on my projects there for hours on end just so that I could get it done. And other students, that was very commonplace for them too, especially since Woodlake's such a low-income community. With the at-home Wi-Fi, it just makes it so much easier to be able to access all of the internet and the resources, and we have our own Chromebooks that we're allowed to take home, which pretty much makes us accountable for all of our work.
The district needed to look into the infrastructure of what it would take. Towers were a big part of that so that they can transmit the signal. You know, the equipment and service providers organized all that and put it all together to what we have now. The whole expense of this whole infrastructure for the internet was, I mean, way over $500,000.
The community, we're not aware how this will be affecting our students on the long run. But again, our parents, you know, if anything, they've probably had little to no education. So it is just a norm for them to not have internet because they grew up not having internet.
My parents were immigrants that migrated here from Mexico. So they came here offering us a better life. So it's just almost out of respect for your parents to focus on your education and find something you're passionate about within your education so that you're able to really pursue that path and just fulfill these like dreams that were placed in front of you.
I mean, we push them to get to where we don't, you know, I've gone through it, my parents have gone through it. We want better for our kids, a lot better for our kids.
We still have a lot of work to do, but baby steps eventually will get us there. But the gap, I believe it's still pretty wide, and we as a community do need to work closer in order to, you know, make that happen. The school's not going to do it alone.